Hmm? Ah!
You're listening to the Run for Your Lives podcast.
Hey everyone, welcome to the show. I'm Daphne.
And I'm Pake.
And this is the Run for Your Lives podcast.
This episode we are talking about the romantic comedy slasher film, Heart Eyes. Yes, you heard that correctly. That is a combination of genres that exists this day and age in the year of our Lord 2025. Directed by Josh Ruben and released February 7th, 2025. Of course, I went and saw this in theaters the week it released because I love Josh Ruben so much and definitely had to support his. This is his theatrical debut. He's directed a couple other movies before this that I still haven't seen and I need to watch. We should cover them. We should do them. Scare Me and Werewolves Within. But I'm a huge fan of a lot of stuff that Josh Ruben has done. It's fun to follow up. I'm a huge fan of him. I love him. I haven't seen his movies.
But you have seen him on Dropout TV.
Absolutely. He's a hilarious, hilarious man. So yeah, definitely had to show some love to him. And it's like name drop, humble brag thing, tagged him online when I went to go see the movie and he totally responded. So I've been acknowledged by him that I saw his movie in theaters. So, you know, I'm a big shot now.
Don't let your head get too big. Babe.
Right. No.
Yeah. This seems like as good a time as any to cover this movie. It didn't come out that long ago.
Mm-hmm.
But it should be available for people to watch, which is what we usually try to do.
Yeah, it was jump on it and record it as soon as it was as possible, or wait until next year and do it as a Valentine's Day. And I'm like, I don't want to wait a year to cover this one.
Absolutely not. We were not going to wait. Nope. I wanted to see what all the fuss is about. I did not get to the theater to see it. I was very curious as to what it was going to be about. And I have thoughts. Imagine that for a podcast.
That's good.
I have thoughts.
Yeah. It wouldn't be as good of a podcast if we didn't have any thoughts. So
yeah,
it's good
we'd
to know.
end it right now. And if you and if you have to run, you better run for your lives. No, sorry, we're not ending yet. We're going to talk about this movie.
Oh, dang. Sorry.
First thing, we'll do some production notes. It was filmed in Auckland, New Zealand. And as Pake mentioned already, it's the first theatrical release for director Josh Ruben, who is known for comedy. He was a writer for College Humor, and he is a comedian and was on Game Changer and Make Some Noise on Dropout TV, and probably a host of other things that Pake can add in. But that's where I've seen him.
But never Dimension 20. He's never done that. No, and he'll talk about that. He doesn't even know what D&D is. Yeah.
No, what's a D20? Like, he has no idea. The budget for this movie was $18 million, and it grossed $32.2 million. Not bad. It's 97 minutes long. Pake, give us that synopsis.
All right. Pulled this one from IMDb. It's the only one that they had, and it feels more like a in a world kind of movie trailer tagline, but I like it, so maybe I'll channel that a little bit. Channel my Josh Ruben a little bit with doing a character. So synopsis. For the past several years, the Heart Eyes Killer has wreaked havoc on Valentine's Day by stalking and murdering romantic couples. This Valentine's Day, no couple is safe.
You know what? You don't have to become a character because you are a character in all the best ways. Thank you for that display of some of your wonderful talent.
No problem. As Josh Ruben would say. No problem.
I have to tell you that right from the start with this movie, I got such a vibe for like Friday the 13th. And old school slasher, fun, camp, silliness.
Yeah, it is kind of a throwback to the classic where there's a lot of, within the day and age of Blumhouse right now, of so much like, how do we make a horror movie about some crazy thing? How do we find like a weird niche and turn it into a movie? It's like, how do we make a horror movie about AI dolls or swimming pools? Or, it's like, what's the weird thing we can do? And instead, which a lot of those, we've covered those movies and they're great in their own way. But with this, it's a throwback to like, yeah, there's a serial killer. He goes around and he murders people, or we'll talk about those things. But like even with the trailers, it's a serial killer that goes around killing people because that's what they do as a serial killer. And that's what you're going to get. Like, no bells and whistles, nothing super fancy. It's just a classic slasher film. Of course, it is more than that. There is a fun like story to it. There is some twists and turns. And like I said, with introducing the movie, it also is a rom-com. It was released for Valentine's, and it is a romantic comedy. It is a rom-com slasher film, and you don't see that very often, and I think it was pulled off very well.
Well, and I'm not really a rom-com person. I know that it seems like most women enjoy them. I'm not really a rom-com person. I'd much rather see swords and blood and other things, but I got that too in this one.
You got those things in this too, yeah.
Yes, I did. Yeah, one of my thoughts was, what do you get when you mix a romantic comedy with a slasher film? You get heart eyes, basically, because that is what this movie is.
I was waiting for a punchline for like a joke.
I'm so sorry to disappoint you. I don't have any clever jokes to go with it. This also reminded me a bit of My Bloody Valentine and the movie Valentine that came out, I think, in like 2003, early 2000s. It had a good mix of a bunch of things, and I really felt like Josh Ruben was trying to write a love letter to the old days. And I appreciate that so much because there was something special about some of those movies from the 80s, late 70s that were just unapologetically what they were.
Yeah.
And this one, right from the beginning, gave me that feeling. And some general things before we kick in with our main character of Allie. I like the fight in The First Bride. Like, that first girl, she was fighting. Like, she was trying. And it, honestly, I thought she might get away. But then I'm like, no, this is a horror movie. They don't do that.
Right.
She's not the main character. She's not going to live. But, yeah, the way she died was definitely interesting. It's funny how this movie starts with, like, a romantic song and a romantic proposal, and it almost tricks you into thinking it's a different movie.
Yeah, for sure.
And then, it goes in a different direction.
Mm-hmm. There's that moment, like, when I saw it in theaters, I remember, it opening, and it's like, okay, Lone Star's playing, and we have this, like, beautiful vineyard, like, proposal going on. I was like, did I walk into the right theater? Did I sit where? This is Hard Eyes, right? I'm getting a horror movie.
At one point, we hear Pony in the middle of the proposal, and you know where my head went immediately. Mm-hmm. Not to something that our audience would know about, but Pake knows what I'm referring to.
Yeah, it's the off-Broadway show that Daphne performs every 2 years. It's a special now.
No. The only thing is, I did yell at the TV when Adeline, who was the fiance at the beginning, she should have grabbed the freaking gun, okay? Grab the gun. The guy might have got shot in the head, but grab the gun to give yourself a chance. No. And that's when I knew she was done for. Mm-hmm. And we were going to segue into the real meat of the movie.
Yes. Yeah. So lots to talk about with this one. You said, a lot of those tropes and a love letter to horror classics, slasher classics specifically, but also a lot of rom-com tropes and kind of love letter to that too, which is really fun.
The music was great. It really was.
Music choices were phenomenal.
Loved it.
Playing for comedy. Like, just jumping ahead a little bit. Yeah, like Allie and Jay getting into the taxi, and then, like, it's all decorated with, like, hearts, and, like, there's, like, little throne of love between them, and the music playing in the car is just this, like, I don't know the exact song, but yeah, like the lyrics are just like, do you love somebody, but you don't want to, yeah, you're afraid to tell them and tell the person. And it's just, I was like, this is so funny. And then what the Uber driver or taxi driver, they're like, do you like Spotify? I have the best sex scene songs playlist. And it's like, no thanks, we're good.
Well, I mean, they look cute together. And you could think that maybe it is Valentine's Day and there are two people out there. I mean, of course they could just be friends. I mean, that would be fine, but that's not really what's going on.
Yeah, it was fun. I honestly don't have any notes about Jay himself because it's mostly like Allie and Jay together as a unit for most of my notes.
Yeah.
And a lot of hard eyes notes as well. But
do you know who Jay is? Like the actor that plays Jay?
He looks familiar.
His name is Mason Gooding.
Mm-hmm.
Guess who his father is?
Well, if I look at the name and try to think of somebody famous who also has that surname, Kevin Hart.
Yeah, no. He is the son of Academy Award-winning actor Cuba Gooding Jr.
Mm-hmm.
Which was interesting to me because I'd never really seen Mason Gooding in anything.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
this was
this is
really
the first time I've seen him.
Yeah, this is my introduction. I have seen Olivia Holt in a few things, only I know her more with much blonder hair. And so for part of the movie, I was just like, I know who she is and I've seen her in things, but why can't I put my finger on it? It's because her hair was a different color, and I'm used to her with much blonder hair. So,
yeah.
So I guess we kick it off with Allie.
Yeah. Yep, most of the notes, at least there, for them. Early on in the movie, she meets Jay. Let's say you could call the coffee shop interaction a meet cute, but it was truly more of a meet painfully awkward, but still trying its absolute best to be cute despite failing miserably at every possible turn, is what I would call it.
Yes. I would agree. I wrote, Allie meets a boy named Jay who she literally butts heads with.
Mm-hmm. A couple times.
Yeah.
And then she's there with her friend Monica, and she's got this like message from work. She works for Crystal Kane Jewelry as an advertiser and coming up with like commercials and ad campaigns. And she's got this message that's saying, basically, Allie's pitch is like the message to everyone, like we have a meeting about it. And she's like, well, I'm screwed. Obviously, Crystal hated it. I'm going to get fired. And yeah, so she goes in there and gets just reamed out about this ad. By the way, Tommy is the worst. What an obnoxious suck up. Like, come on. Think for yourself, Tommy.
You know what? We've all known an office Tommy. There's one in every office.
Yeah. Allie's campaign for this jewelry line is Till Death Do Us Part, which, to be honest, the commercial was actually really cool. It
was clever. I thought she was clever.
Yeah.
With it.
But yeah, releasing a commercial where couples die in iconic ways while there's an actual serial killer out running around killing couples, it is bad timing.
Yeah, I thought it was
sure.
was in bad taste, kind of, because of the situation that's going on. I mean, she should have known better. But again, I think her talents are wasted here anyway.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really what she wants to do. It's just what she ended up doing.
Yeah. And so to fix this kerfuffle that has happened here, yeah, Crystal, her boss, brings in a specialist, Consumer Cupid, who's brought in to fix this absolute PR nightmare that Allie has created. And that specialist to come in and help the company is none other than Jay Simmons, the guy from the coffee shop just before. So
yep, Consumer Cupid, a.k.a. the reinforcements, a.k.a. he came to save the day and he has 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about how you land the plane that matters.
So, yeah, that's fun to deal with. And then he immediately kind of invites her to this Valentine's Day dinner at a fancy restaurant. That's totally not a date, but a work thing. So it's like, okay, fine. I will say about Jay, I'm just kind of throwing off a lot of his stuff. Like, I know a lot, like the movie, I remember even seeing it in theaters and having like all these theories. You're like, okay, who's the killer? Who's this? And thinking, and it's supposed to give off the vibe that Jay is the killer for like at least the whole like first half of the movie.
Yes.
Just with like little things, like, you know, he keeps disappearing, like, oh, more deaths happened while he was away at yoga, you know, like, they kind of set up all these like little teases that make you think it could be him. And then also just his personality, like he comes off a little strong while somehow also being distant at the same time. It's like, okay, something's weird about him. Yeah, but it's really, he's so good at marketing, charm, and romance that he kind of sucks at it in the personal realm.
Yeah, I remember when they were comparing notes about why they feel the way that they do about romance, she has a different way of looking at it than him. He still, despite his parents not getting along, he really seems like he likes the idea of romance and love, and I think he's drawn to her maybe partially because she just seems like she's not in that realm. Like she wants to run away from it as much as she can. But yet she's addicted to her phone and looking up what her boyfriend is doing, her ex-boyfriend, what he's doing.
Yeah.
So they only have like 24 hours or less than 24 hours to come up with a new campaign. And her boss is such a piece of work because Allie thinks she's going to be fired, but she's not because her boss wants to suck her life force of creativity out.
Yeah.
Before her contract ends in 6 months.
That character, Crystal Kane, is so much fun though, to watch. We're going to ski dabble.
Yes. Yeah, she's definitely something.
Monica, would you please do me a favor and shut the fuck up?
Monica is another character that I really found fun. I thought she was great. Yeah. She has a non-sugar daddy.
And again, it's like a lot of those rom-com tropes that are done so well in the characters of this movie, even these side characters. Like we said, the Tommy, the office suck-up. We have the overbearing, but like charming and a sickening, and you know she's up to something bad way boss. The Monica, the best friend who's like, oh my god, bitch! You know, like that's your... You have those like tropes in place, but they also feel real in this world, which is, it's written well too.
Yeah, Monica insists that they go fuck up her credit card by getting Allie something nice to wear. Yeah,
which again is something about the rom-com horror movie. You know, you don't get a lot of slashers that have a solid shopping, trying on outfits montage. There's not a lot of them, so...
And honestly, out of everything she tried on, I thought what she picked was the best one for her. I thought it was something that matched who she is, matched her aura really well. Some of the other outfits she tried on, some of them were too over the top or too just not, they just didn't radiate Allie to me. And so what she ended up with, I thought, was great. It's too bad it got all bloody later.
And also, she's got her metal straw that she carries around everywhere with her.
Yeah, she's environmentally
conscious. Yeah. Planet saved. That's great. And yeah, so if you thought the coffee shop interaction went poorly, Allie and Jay say, hold my unwanted champagne, wait until you see this work, not date. We can make it worse.
Yeah, but I do appreciate the timing of their show of affection, or rather Allie showing Jay some affection outside. While good for some things, was not good for others.
Right. Yeah. Allie kissing Jay because Colin, her ex you mentioned before, is walking up with his new girlfriend, Sienna, and Allie wants to make him jealous. Which Jay plays along with. They have that like moment. It's like, and who's this? My boyfriend. Like, sure. Yeah, that ends up being a terrible decision made in that moment because that kiss is what put Allie and Jay in the crosshairs of the HEK.
Yes.
Because we learned they were originally targeting Colin and Sienna, who showed up to dinner, kept their double date reservations, and made it too after their friends Adeline and Patrick were killed at the beginning of the movie.
Can you imagine that? Like, I think that's pretty bold to do something like that. Oh, we didn't want
and you kept the reservations.
Oh, yeah. Don't want it to go to waste. Okay. That's in such poor taste, but okay. It really tells us who you are.
Mm-hmm.
You are a giant douche. Okay? That's what you are.
Got it. Good for Allie for getting out of that.
Yeah, because she actually broke it off. So they don't really share why. I don't know what the point, why they did. But, I mean, Allie's got a very cynical look at things. She thinks romance is a lie and a farce. Some get lucky, but the other 99% are bouncing from one failed experiment to the next.
Mm-hmm.
And Jay is just like, that's very sad.
Awkward not date.
Yeah. And they end up leaving the restaurant basically because Jay walks out after she's insulted him again.
Mm-hmm. Which, it was interesting because it's like, yeah, he was hurt. And she does apologize and like, yeah, I've had a rough day. But like, also, she wasn't wrong. Like, he was pushing some boundaries. Like, he was very like, it's supposed to be a work dinner and very professional. And he comes in asking her about all this personal information and really just like, and flirting with her, like, obviously. Like, it's like,
yeah,
she had every right to also push back at him.
She did. I mean, she does say multiple times, we're supposed to be working, and she's thinking about the campaign. And, yeah, no, he's really into her.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, is this a test? Is he really the killer and he's testing her? And if she blows him off, then she's okay. Or if she goes out with him, she's okay. What's the right answer here to make it so that Allie is okay? Because I really liked her character a lot. And I didn't want anything to happen to her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but, end up sharing the ride. Awkward ride home. She lost her key. So just leads to, after so many awkward moments, the two of them finally do start to break the ice, or glass window. Have a really sweet moment while Allie's patching up Jay's cut up hand.
Well, he's sitting on the only available surface to sit on in her apartment because her couch is covered in clothes.
I didn't want to sit on your nice clothes. I just like, that like, looking at the pictures, like, I wasn't expecting company. Wait, ever?
Because there's one picture of her in a Pikachu outfit. And she was acting like it wasn't a childhood photo. It was like, Tuesday I did this. I don't know. It was kind of
Well,
funny.
there was a childhood photo, but he said, I was like, oh, I dressed up as Pikachu for Halloween too. And she's like, well, that wasn't Halloween. That was a Tuesday. She's just like, I was super into that.
Yeah.
But this sweet moment is then interrupted by Hard Eyes, which leads to definitely an all-time funny dildo moment if there ever was to be a list of those compiled.
I knew something was in that closet. And then the fact that she opens the door and Hard Eyes is there.
It just chucks the thing at his face.
And then it starts running. It's
so
on.
Good. It's so funny.
Across the floor. Oh my God.
Fantastic.
That was just
perfect.
Nuts.
Thank you for that shot and that scene, Josh Ruben. It means a lot to me.
Were you the one I heard that was at the end of the movie applauding at the screen saying, go Josh Ruben, and hooting and hollering? Yeah. Okay, because I heard about that. That was something that was making the rounds on Reddit, but nobody got a video of it, so I wasn't sure if it was you.
Yeah, definitely would have been me.
Yeah, I thought so. I'm like, yeah, Pake would do that.
And so then running from Hard Eyes out, the taxi driver that was waiting on them still, that's a long time to sit out there and wait, gets shot and killed, and so they're on the run. Leads to the carousel sequence, which from Hard Eyes on the swing all the way to the cops showing up was just great.
It
was a
really
great
was.
Classic slasher horror sequence for sure.
It was a lot of fun. All I could think, though, is that he's like all of the killers in Dead by Daylight, where they can take one step, and that's like 5 steps that the victims are running away, and he can just get to them very quickly.
How do they move so fast and get place to place? It's almost like there's more than one of them.
Yes.
Almost as if.
Did you consider that at the time, or were you?
Yeah, actually, no, I totally did. It was like at that moment, that first interaction in her apartment, that I was starting to think there's 2 of them. Because even if I was thinking that Jay was still one of them, then I was like, oh, then maybe Jay is one, and then there's also another one to where he can kind of keep his name clean while he's with her. But then even after that, you're still like, there's just so many, like, the way that Hard Eyes would pop up in one place to the next. I was like, yeah, that was a theory that I came up with while watching even the first time in theaters that I was right about pretty early on. I was like, there's more than one killer. It's a Scream situation all over again.
I did not get that impression. But at that point, I had decided that I thought Jay was potentially really the killer. And he may have been working with someone, but I wasn't sure. It wasn't until the police station that I was like, and here we go. And now I get it. I know who the killer is.
You figured it out then.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Yes. That guy? Absolutely. I knew he was involved right away.
Yeah. I didn't. Like, on my first watch, like, the reveal at the end of the movie in the chapel really was a surprise reveal. Which, on second watch, of course, I'm watching Shaw, like, this whole movie, being, like, looking for clues and stuff, and then, yeah, there's, like, little things. Like, obviously, yeah, at the police station, when it's, like, when she then shows up after the drive-in theater, and she's, like, her arm's in a sling, but she's practically unharmed, and it's like, that should have been a red flag right away. I should have picked up on that first watch.
When she showed up with her arm in a sling, I thought, oh, are we going there? Is she the killer?
But for whatever reason, David was just not on my radar. I literally just bought this, like, oh, he's some random IT guy. Like, I wrote him off as a red herring, which is probably what you're supposed to do, and I fell for it.
I think had she agreed to go out with him, it might have made them not a target.
Yeah, I don't know. See, again, it's like a red herring thing. It's like, why was he asking?
Because he thought she was cute.
Well, it may have been a test of, like, if she actually... Because, like, her not boyfriend is in the questioning, is in the interrogation room, and if she blows Jay off to go on a date with this random IT guy, then I was like, oh, maybe we did have it wrong, and there isn't anything between them, and we should call it off. Maybe that is what that test was.
Yeah, I thought it was a test. That he was trying to figure out if they were really a thing, and so if she hadn't blown him off, I think they might have been okay, because Jay had been saying they weren't a thing. They had been both saying that we're not a thing, we're not a couple.
We're not together, and we'll go kill someone else.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, speaking of Shaw, yeah, meeting the detectives.
Oh, my God.
At the park. It's such a great bit. So funny. They're like, I'm Detective Hobbs, this is Detective Shaw. Hobbs and Shaw? Like the movie. And the way they just, like, stop and look at each other, like, yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. I haven't seen it. So funny. And also the fact that Jordana Brewster, who plays Janine Shaw, is in the Fast and Furious franchise. It's just another fun level to that joke.
Yeah. She was in a great movie that we covered called The Faculty.
Mm-hmm.
And he is Mr. Final Destination himself. Devon Sawa played her partner, Hobbs. Which we have not covered those movies. Which we should cover those movies. Have you seen any of them?
I've seen the first 4, 5? I think I've seen most of them. If not all. I think there's one. Was there one that was like a mall fire thing or something? I think maybe I didn't watch all that one.
That's one of the last ones that came out.
Yeah.
They're coming out with a new one, I think.
First one's the plane. The second one is my favorite. Is the big traffic accident pile up with the logs that has just still ruined so many people driving on interstates everywhere. The third one, which one's the roller coaster?
That is the third one, and I'm sure you saw it because you know who's in it. Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
It's been so long.
You've seen it. You know
but I have seen it. I have seen it. Yes. I know I've seen those 3. Which is interesting, which is surprising enough even to me because, again, the body horror, like that, like stuff, like the anxiety, anticipation body horror stuff is not it's not my cup of tea.
No.
And I have seen at least the first 3, and I was very uncomfortable the whole time, but I did watch them. And so I own the second one. Only that one. I don't own the 1 or 3, but I do own the second one because it is by far my favorite.
Well, if we're going to cover the second one, we have to cover the first one.
Yeah, and I know they're working on a new one.
They are.
They're rebooting the franchise or something soon, so...
Well, because they kind of went full circle with, I think, the most recent one that came out. But I won't say any more on that because I don't want to spoil it for any of our listeners who haven't seen any of them. But I feel like they rounded it out, so...
Mm-hmm.
Getting back into this movie...
Yeah, so yeah, Hobbs and Shaw, and then bringing Jay in is kind of like, I assume the reason they didn't kill him and brought him in is their plan was kind of a scapegoat if they needed to take some heat off of them or kind of.
Well, everyone was rejoicing that they had caught.
Yeah, if Shaw and David were trying to do that, which also then we found the mask and the crossbow on this guy. I did pick up on this more the second watch. It was a sneaky little way of getting the mask and the crossbow to the police station so that David could show up and then put them on and then they could make the swap. It was like, as seeing that, I was like, that's really clever, honestly.
I loved the red night vision goggles through the eyes. That was so cool. And the mask was just awesome. Mm-hmm. It really was.
Very good. Lots of great lines in that whole police station thing. I love that we got an HWW out in the lobby.
I love that too.
HWW, hysterical white woman. The fact that they both say it at the same time. And I was like, we need to make that more of a thing. It's better than the term Karen, honestly. It's more general of a term.
Yeah.
And I think, I was like, I like HWW. I might have to start using that in my daily life.
The things you learn from movies that you can use day to day. It's amazing how movies can just make things better by giving you terms to use that are better than what we have.
Yeah. A lot of great, quick one-liners. Allie, God bless America. God bless the USA. Yeah.
Because she was going to inspect something in a closet, and she went and got the flag because she was trying to protect herself, and, she was trying to cover it up.
That's great. Good stuff. Allie got a gun, blasted through the two-way mirror to save Jay, and unfortunately she's a horrible shot and couldn't hit Hard Eyes with 20 bullets. So.
No, but she did get Hard Eyes away from Jay, which was a good thing.
Yes.
She was good at that. Because I knew she wasn't going to abandon him again. I think he kind of thought she was, but she didn't abandon him. She can't.
Yeah, he has that moment where he's calling out for her while he's in that room, and while she left to go get the gun and the key, and then he's just like, and she ditched me again. It's okay.
No. And again, we're not together. We're not together. We're not together. At one point, they're laying on the ground about to kiss and have to yell, we're not together. It's like,
we're not together.
How much more together are you? I mean,
right. It's like, it's not what that looks like here.
Your voices are saying one thing and your bodies are saying something else.
Yeah. Yeah, so they leave the station and then lead Hard Eyes directly into a drive-in theater, as Allie says, an all-you-can-kill buffet.
Yes. I loved that. I thought that was funny. And we get Josh Ruben in a cameo as a moviegoer.
Yeah, the director cameo there, he is the guy in the red car that steps out and goes, shit, somebody call 911!
Yes, and deleted scene of him dying. I learned,
I need to see that.
It's deleted scene, yeah. You might have to buy the movie, Pake.
You know what? I think I could manage that sacrifice.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I'd like to see that. Yeah, it's like, wait, show up and say one line in my own movie? No problem.
Yeah. One of my favorite scenes in the movie, honestly, were the two of them hiding in the van with the two people in the back having sex.
Yeah, they're having this like real serious personal conversation about their like upbringing and their families and like their kind of trauma with relationships and romance, and the owners of the van are just banging it out in the back.
Yeah.
Until they get too loud and Hard Eyes shows up to tire iron them.
Yes. Probably one of my favorite kills in a movie ever.
It's a great one. Yeah.
Like this is good. I mean, I've seen tire iron killings in other movies, but the way that this one was pulled off was
really great.
Really, cool. Really clever. I liked it a lot.
Yeah. And yeah, so after that body drops out of the back of that van, then all hell breaks loose. People start freaking out, and Hard Eyes is just slashing and killing. And Allie decides to just be a hero instead of running like everyone else. No, two executive advertisers are going to take on a serial killer with a metal straw.
We brought him here. We end it here. Because they're just going to... She's right. He's just going to keep killing people. Mm-hmm. They've got to stop him.
Yeah, and they do need a better weapon than that straw. So, the couple that dislodges a tire iron from a corpse together stays together. We all know the classic saying. It's very romantic.
Yes, they're a team. Mm-hmm. And the song Please Don't Go starts playing, and I'm just like, okay, here we go.
And they were successful in killing Hard Eyes. And then puking all over his dead body for good measure.
Well, she doesn't like to get blood in her mouth.
Mm-mm. As opposed to most people who love it.
Yeah, of course. Well, she told them, I'm not good with blood. Right. She takes his mask off, and she looks, and they don't know who it is.
Yeah, they acted like they were expecting to recognize the person, which...
Yeah, I don't know.
If you're thinking in reality, it's like, why would you typically, like...
Yeah, I don't know.
Statistically, it's not going to be somebody, although... No. They will.
Yes.
It will be somebody, also. Yeah, because after all they've been through, Allie still doesn't go with Jay. He offers to, let's go back to my hotel, we can still work on this thing, and she still kind of like pushes him away and chooses to let him go. Lets the killer give him a ride.
I think she pushes people away because she's afraid of getting hurt. She goes back to her mom having the storybook romance with her dad until he died and her mom never recovered. And I think she gets close to someone and then she gets afraid, and that's when she pushes them away.
Yeah.
And with him, I mean, you could tell she really does care about him, but she can't reconcile it in her head. It's better to let go of him now and feel a little bit of pain than to love him and let him go later and be destroyed. And so he tries. I mean, you have to give him credit for trying. He writes his number on her hand. Mm-hmm. And then she's just alone. I mean, even the ambulance people take her blankets off her and leave.
Yeah, that's funny. Well, I got somewhere else to be. I'm going to need that and that. I liked that the ambulance, like the EMT. I liked her. Just kind of, she's like, y'all are the couple that took out, that stopped Hard Eyes. So cute. I was like, y'all are going to be famous. And she's like, y'all are so cute together. And then like later when he's like, does anybody have a pen? And she just like pops up out of nowhere. There you go.
So helpful and so ready to do whatever needs to be done, right?
Mm-hmm. Great. Yeah. Yeah, so she's, lets him go. And once again is alone, and then she's back at home, and she's watching that same movie that was on at the theater, and she's just...
So, yeah, His Girl Friday, which is a Cary Grant movie. And she's so sad. She's just sad to me. Like, she looks like...
Such a niche reference only if somebody watches the show. This season of Mythic Quest, there's a Cary Grant reference where one of the characters, David, Mythic Quest, is like, they're at like a party and he's like dressed. I was like, try to look like Cary Grant, and people, like all the like younger people that work with him are like, I don't know who that is. He's like, seriously? Classic act. And then later says like, and then that actress that David keeps trying to pretend is like, Cary Grant is a male actor. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, she just looks really sad to me. And so Monica calls her, and Monica is a cool friend. Like, she's trying to, like, encourage her to be bold and to go outside the box or just to admit how she feels. Yeah. And she tells her that she deserves to be loved despite being a neurotic mess. And I'm like...
Yeah. And then the rest of that speech after that was the moment I laughed out loud in the movie theater, chuckling to myself because it was so good. She gives this most tongue-in-cheek, reference-filled speech, telling her to do the most cliche rom-com thing you can do. Go get him. Go to him at the airport. And then she gives this speech, which is, it felt like an episode of Make Some Noise or something, where it was like, give a speech to your friend to do a rom-com cliche thing and fit in as many titles of rom-com movies as you can. Because it's exactly what she does. She goes, I mean, you can be so clueless sometimes. It's one of the 10 things I hate about you. Honestly. You can't let Jay go off to his best friend's wedding and hook up with a bunch of bridesmaids and move to Notting Hill. No, this is love, mama. Some kind of wonderful, crazy, stupid love, actually. So good.
Yes. I think you're right. It is a game changer. Wasn't that a game? No. Yes, it was Game Changer.
It was a Game Changer episode where they did like a Shakespeare play fitting in a bunch of things.
Yes. That would have been perfect for that.
Yeah. It's like throw in rom-com movie titles. Yeah.
Yes.
Made me, like, literally, I remember even in the theaters, once I realized what she was doing, just laughing, just chuckling to myself out loud, be like, this is wonderful. This is fantastic.
She was great. I liked her. She's a good BFF. She takes her out to buy clothes that she needs for this date and lifts her up when she's falling apart and encourages her to do things that she needs to do. And then what does Allie do but go to the airport to find him? And she thinks she has found him. Unfortunately, it's not him, and the guy just looks at her like she's crazy.
Mm-hmm. After it's that, like, romantic music playing and she's moving her way through the crowd. Jay! And then, like, totally shoulders this one guy. Oh, fuck! Sorry! And it's just these great comedy beats.
Yes.
And then, immediately following that up with, again, the horror. Then she gets the call. No number. And then it's Hard Eyes with the distorted voice. It's there's getting so much, like, Scream or and it's like they have Jay at the St. Valentine's Chapel, come right here. It's like, don't talk to anybody else or he dies, don't ask for help, he dies. And it's just very like, come here, and it's time for this to end. And when she gets there, they've got Jay gagged and standing there, and Team Hard Eyes,
because it is a team. At one point, just before this, when she was looking for him at the airport, I wondered if this was all just going to be the reshot advertisement for the jewelry.
That would have been something.
And when she got the call and they ended up at the St. Valentine Chapel, or Valentine's Chapel, I realized, okay, I don't think that's it at all then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but they've got a choice set for Allie. There's a gun in rose petals, in a rose petal heart, with one bullet. You save Jay or yourself by killing yourself or Jay. And so Allie gives this speech about love and then shoots Jay. Of course, shoots him in the shoulder, which goes through him and into Shaw, which was not exactly her plan. She says, I overcorrected, but we'll work with it. Again, we've established she's a terrible shot, and luckily it wasn't worse.
I'm glad that she was able to accomplish that much of it, because honestly, she was a really bad shot, and it could have gone much worse.
Yeah. But and then after this whole kind of fight with them, goes well for Allie and Jay, because these killers with David and Shaw they sure do love their theatrics and to monologue, and that gives Jay enough time to grab a bolt from David and expand it right through his eye and face.
That was amazing.
So good. Sends him tumbling into the least kinky dripping wax experience he's probably ever had.
Oh my god, that was also great.
And then Allie can finally use that metal straw. Which, just, again, like, with the gore horror aspect, is one of those, like, best kind of, like, horror cringe moments where you're like, that's so gross and so well thought out that it's amazing, is her stabbing that straw up through her neck and then into her mouth, and then you can hear the wheezing, gurgling, like, coming out the straw in her, like, throat, just as, like a snorkel. I was like, that is, oh my god. So
After
good.
they disregarded the potential for that to be a weapon.
Yeah.
It was perfect. And then Shaw dying by decapitation after talking about St. Valentine.
Yeah, they got married in that church, and they loved St. Valentine's because he was beheaded, and then so to run her neck through St. Valentine's sword, beheading her. Poetic. It was
great. It was great.
And then David's back. Oh no, just shoot him with one more bolt. And, nah, we're good.
Yeah.
Planet saved.
I thought it was great because they explained, like, murdering couples is our kink, and we love hunting and killing. We share what we love, and it was just like, oh my.
Yeah, it was great, because again, It's like, there's not this, like, big, deep meaning that we're going for. It's like, there's not really a huge reveal for the motives of David and Janine as Hard Eyes. It's other than that, like, share what you love. We both love killing, so we do it together. That's it. Also, there was Eli, but they really didn't seem that upset about his death, like, at all, so.
No. They thought he was just kind of a fanboy. So they weren't really too upset about him.
Yeah.
So that's who they killed.
Yeah.
At the drive-in.
But then, a year later, Allie and Jay are together. She's going back to med school. She proposes to him at the drive-in, where he says he first realized he loved her, which was, beautiful
so
moment.
Cute.
So it was great. And then you did see the mid-credits scene, right?
I did.
Of course, good.
I did.
I don't think anybody else did in the theater except for me, because I know when to stay. There's an app that I use that will tell me if there's anything, and immediately when a movie ends, I go on there and I'm like, okay.
Yep.
When do I get to go?
Yeah.
And so I knew it was coming, so everybody else gets up and leaves, and I was like, ha, suckers. You don't get the mid-credit scene. But I did. But yeah, Allie gets a phone call right after the proposal with that same distorted voice, with the roses are red, violets are blue. Guess who just took a picture of you? And it's Monica playing a prank, because full circle, for the entire movie, she is taking pictures of a proposal from a distance. It's fun.
Exactly. Yeah. And Jay, actually, I thought it was funny that they kind of led you to think that maybe Jay was going to be proposing to her, but instead it was a key to his place. And then
I'm assuming he just moved to Seattle full-time within that year at some point.
And I think that her reaction was great, where she's just like, doesn't know what to say. And you think, how could you not want to be with him after everything you've been through? And it's because she's going to propose to him, and he accepts, and it's adorable.
Yeah.
Much
great.
Better than the proposal at the beginning, which the guy tried to do by putting the ring in a strawberry.
There was so much so funny about that opening vineyard proposal. Like, Adeline has clearly set the whole thing up herself. It's scripted to the fact that she's mouthing along his proposal while he's saying it. Like, yes, stick to the script I gave you. And like I said, it's all set to the song Amazed by Lone Star for maximum cheese.
Yes.
Until Pony interrupted that. But yeah.
Bow, bow.
And then having the hired photographer who misses the big moment. So, we're just going to take it from the top and do it again. And that's a cut or a stab.
Through the eye or through the camera lens into his face with a machete that Jason Voorhees himself would be proud of.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Hard Eyes with, he's a leather-clad serial killer with, heart eyes in the mask, wielding deadly hand crossbow his own little Cupid's bolts. Throwing knives and a brass knuckle machete. I mean, he's got a thematic set of toys. Or see, they, both of them, 3 of them, all of it. Depends on who was there at the time. It was David. It was him. It was he. He does say he was the one at the vineyard.
Hey, I loved when they were at the drive-in. Honestly, I feel like for the first couple seconds, Hard Eyes didn't even know who to kill. Because he was in a paradise of couples on Valentine's Day at the drive-in.
Right. Yeah. No, it was, yeah. So David mentions it was him at the vineyard. But also, yeah, of course, because he dropped the ring there with JS. Again, which then I'm assuming Shaw had a ring. She was also constantly playing this, like, story that she's single, desperately single, and on the apps, so she wouldn't have been wearing it at the station or around, but somewhere she's got a ring that has D something on it, I'm sure. Yeah, I thought as soon as David came in, I knew he was involved. Like that right away. I'm like, he's involved. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. It wouldn't have been a movie if she'd said, yes, of course I'll go have coffee with you. It just, yeah, I mean, it might have saved a few people, but like poor Hobbs, the other half of the Hobbs and Shaw team gets sliced and the blood goes flying on his picture at the police station. That was interesting. Yeah, I was wondering with that, I was like, wondering if Shaw was the one that got to do that, if she had switched into the costume or not. I don't know. It might have still probably been David. But it's like, because I feel like it's like, well, if she was the one that got to take out Hobbs, then it explains the way that she did. Or because it's like, she's probably been itching for that because he's been coming on really strong to her. Oh my God, like, yes. So, yeah. There were so many cool, funny, ridiculous quotes in this movie. Like, I found myself writing down quotes a lot. I think one of my favorite ones was when when Jay and Allie were at the restaurant, and he says to her after she says something about depends, and he says, you know, I don't immediately go to poop when I think about love, and that just made me laugh. Yeah. And when Allie's with Monica, talking about her sugar daddy, and Monica says, he's my sponsor. And Allie's like, and do you love your sponsor, or is he just erasing your debt because he paid off all of her debt? And after her straw ends up killing Shaw, Allie goes, love hurts, bitch. And then she tells Saint Valentine, your fucking day sucks. Yeah. Yeah. Need more Josh Ruben love on this podcast. We definitely need to do Scare Me and probably even Werewolves Within somewhere down the line. I think that we can. Josh Ruben it up. And then Josh Ruben, if you're listening. Clearly he's got to be. I can only assume he's a big fan. Then you should come on and talk about your movies. Honestly, I might try to reach out to him. Who knows? I'm wary to say that on the podcast because those things don't work out much all the time when we try to do stuff. But hey, who knows? Can always put it out into the universe of like, maybe. Yeah. Think good things and send out positive vibes. That's how good things come back to you. Yes. But yeah, so more Josh Ruben love on this podcast will be good. But yeah, I already started digging into my Hard Eyes notes because Allie and Jay are Odenskis for me. Yeah, Josh Ruben did a great job with this one. I know that he was heavily influenced by Friday the 13th, Part 6, Jason Lives. And I can see that because I've seen that movie a bunch of times. And it's like, okay, yeah, I can see it. It's got that vibe. There was a bit of comedy. In some of the Friday the 13th movies, there are little bits of comedy. Not to this extent. But I think, he really navigated a balance between the two of horror and slashing with
the comedy and then the heart and love and mixed it all together. And I wonder if there'll be a sequel. I mean, there could be. They set it up, potentially.
Yeah. I want to see more from Josh Ruben. Absolutely, for sure. I'm just now waiting for him to work on and put out his full feature-length thriller. He's ready to dive into some thrillers. His full feature-length version of his Make Some Noise bit about the boy sneaking into the house at night and trying not to wake up his grandmother. That's going to be the thriller of the year once that one comes out.
Oh my god. Is that real, or are you just making it up?
No, I'm 100% making... No, that's real. Make Some Noise bit that he did that's hilarious.
Yes, but he's not making it into a feature-length thing, is he?
No, but he should.
Okay.
It would be the thriller of the year if he
All
does.
Right. I don't want you to get people's hopes up and then find out that it's not real.
No. But people should find and watch that bit because it's great. It's so funny. But yeah, more Josh Ruben. Yeah, so again, main characters down out the way, but I've still got a bunch of notes about Hard Eyes stuff that I don't know if I've touched on or not. But let's
go through it.
Yeah, so talked about the opening. Other than Adeline hiding in, I guess, what was a giant commercial grape crusher. It's a winery.
Yes, not a good place to.
And Hard Eyes, we now know David at that time is like, okay, I can work with that. No problem.
She had done so well until then. And then it's like, okay, now you're acting like the quintessential victim number 1 or victim number 4 in a horror movie. Like, you totally are, so.
Yeah. And then at the beginning of the movie, after that, we get a lot of just cut together, like, news clips from all over of people talking about the Hard Eyes killer and, like, the different cities. He's been in, like, Boston and Philadelphia, and now he's, is he going to be in Seattle this year? Like, where is he going to be next? And all of this stuff. And then it has all these, like, interviews with citizens and people in Seattle and stuff like that. And my absolute favorite, I laughed so hard. Like, it was a good, like, in the theater, it was a good, like, chuckle. Second watch, I forgot that it was coming, and it made me pause the movie and bust out laughing. Is just this one guy who's like the interviewer is like, are you scared that Hard Eyes might be coming to Seattle this year? Is like, does that make you afraid to go out and do anything for Valentine's? He was like, I ain't even scared of Hard Eyes at all. HEK ain't got nothing on me. And his girlfriend goes, shut up, Dylan. You're afraid of the dark. And he stops for a little bit and pauses. And then his response is, no, I don't. Which is just... It's so funny. I don't know why it made me laugh that hard. But just his, no, I don't. So good. Man.
Sometimes it's those one-off little interview clips that are part of things that you just can't.
It's like maybe my favorite thing, like, line of the whole movie. And there's so much good stuff. And it's just this, like, no, I don't. I don't know. But yeah, so HEK's been in this different city every year, killing couples on Valentine's Day. And on second watch again, now that I know all the secrets and the twists and turns, I was watching Shaw a lot more closely this whole movie, being like, all right, looking for clues. And so then it makes that kind of opening scene with her a little different. Yeah, where her and Hobbs are rolling up and she's investigating the crime scene and honestly admiring her man's handiwork a little bit. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But then also getting her ring back as evidence, or his ring back, with her initials on it, J.S., Janine Shaw. Which, yeah, even he mentions the J.S. and then being able to use that for J. Simmons and try to frame him, bring him to the station, which I said was a great vehicle for swapping the mask and the crossbow over to the station. I love Jay's line in there. These muscles aren't for violence. They're for cuddling.
I think that's perfectly fine use of muscles. Cuddling.
Yeah. We mentioned Devon Sawa as Hobbs, which his character was just such a dipshit, which was fun. It's great.
Yeah. When he died, I was like, okay. I wasn't sure that would happen, but then it did.
Yeah, him like flying off the handle. I love that moment where, it's like, that's sarcasm. It's like...
You don't need to tell us what it is.
Yeah, and so he's like freaking out, getting mad at Jay for like being snarky with him, and Shaw sends him out of the room. And again, it's fun on second watch being like, so Shaw's playing the good cop, bad cop routine, and she's the good cop in this instance, which is quite ironic considering she's the actual serial killer of the movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was a little skeptical, but it took me a while. Like, I wasn't surprised when she turned out to be one of the killers.
Mm-hmm.
But the first half of the movie took me in different places, like trying to figure out who it is. And I think that they delivered with the result of who the killers were in the story and was it believable? Yeah. People do things all the time for ridiculous reasons, so why not?
Yeah, so IT guy David is at the station to fix the Ethernet and get his mask and crossbow. Yes. That's what he's doing.
And to hit on people that are in the waiting room.
Yeah. Which, then I like, him talking with Allie and then she goes, where is everybody? He's like, well, they're out celebrating. Didn't you hear? They caught Hard Eyes. And I was like, did they, David? Did they?
Yes, they did.
And then RIP to that other lady. I guess you could say she was run up the flagpole, or more, it was run through her, but yeah.
Yeah. Allie tried to help her with her crossword puzzle.
That's correct.
Just a little bit. Just one word.
Yeah, we mentioned the mask with the glowing heart eyes and then the red night vision.
That was just, it was perfect. It really was perfect. And I found out that the guy that did the mask, Tony Gardner, also has done masks for things like Freaky, which is a movie we can cover. It's Vince Vaughn swapping places with a girl. Yeah. It actually is really good. Happy Death Day, and a movie called Totally Killer, which also stars Olivia Holt and fits the Run for Your Lives.
Cool.
Thing. So
she's done the Survivor Girl thing before.
She has. Yeah, it fits our format, so I feel like we could do it.
Yeah. So Hard Eyes going into the interrogation room with Jay and the machete on the table. That's another thing that I hate so much, besides like the body horror stuff, is the metal scraping. No, I hate it so much.
Did you
I'm very sensitive to that. I'm like, no.
There was a part
where the point, like, I can't, like, clean, like, forks and pots and, like, dishes. It gives me the bad feels. I don't like it. The metal scraping is a sensory no-no for me. Just the sound of it, the feel of it.
Did you have trouble when the knife was on the windshield, carving into it? Did that bother you?
It wasn't as bad. It's the metal on metal.
Does it make your teeth hurt?
No, more just
because sometimes that is what people.
say. No, I get that. Yeah, but it's just more of like it almost is the same reaction of like one of those like eyeball fingernail kind of scenes where I like, even though it's auditory, not as visual, I still have to like close my eyes and turn away and just be like, no, make it stop, make it leave now, please take it away from me. It's I don't like it. So you talked about Josh Ruben's cameo. Also, not really a cameo, but just a return. The two girls that are in the car that he's dragging the knife across the windshield of and terrorizing are return characters from earlier in the movie with those interviews I was talking about. They were being interviewed and says, is it going to ruin your Valentine's Day plans? And one of them goes, who makes plans on Valentine's? This holiday sucks ass. And then the other girl sitting right goes, yeah, beep, Valentine. And then she gets cut off. Those are the two girls that were sitting in the car, was the girls from the interview. And I was like, oh, that's fun. So they did have Valentine's Day plans, and that was to go see a movie.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, I talked about Shaw and the reveal and all that. So yeah, I think that's all I've got there.
Wow. Well, I did find one other quote from Allie. And then I lost it. Oh, yeah. When Allie was facing off against Shaw and David, she had a couple of different quotes that were fun. Well, I didn't know that murder was a love language.
Mm-hmm.
And your dedication is impressive. It's twisted as fuck. So, yeah. I thought this movie was a ton of fun, and it reminded me
Absolutely.
a lot of movies that I really enjoyed from the 80s. And the rom-com part was fun. I'm not really a rom-com person, but I did enjoy this a lot. I thought it was fun. There were a lot of tie-ins and, connections and tropes, so it really was very entertaining. Right at the beginning, I think I texted you as soon as I was like 10 minutes in and said, I can't wait to talk about this, because I was legitimately super into it right away because I just thought it was fun. It just had that vibe that was fun. So
yeah, it was like we mentioned, even like way off the top, is like it was a good throwback to classic slasher movies, and it had that vibe, and it just kind of not too deep of a thinker, but like that's fine, because what it was is what you want from it.
Yeah,
with a good, healthy dose of comedy. So
yes, and we do like comedic horror. Like those are movies that we've covered before. That like Cooties is one that we've covered. Yeah. Where you just have so much fun with it, you can't help it. It's just ridiculous fun. Yeah,
those are some of my top favorite movies. Like, not even just like horror movies, but just maybe break the like top 10 movies of all time for me are movies like that, like Cooties and Tucker and Dale. Like those just great comedy horror things.
Yeah. It was a ton of fun. I enjoyed it a lot. And I hadn't seen it when we decided to cover it. So this is one of the rare times where you've seen a movie that I hadn't.
Yeah. There's a lot of movies that, like, if I know it's going to fit and we can cover it, that I'll hold off. But so I went opening weekend theaters because my one measly little ticket sale to support Josh Ruben while it was on its theatrical run, I was going to do what I could. Do my part.
Well, and two, once you watched it, you knew that it fit and that we could do it. Because sometimes it's kind of like this. You're just, you're not entirely sure until you actually watch it. Because there have been times before where we've thought, oh, yeah, that might fit. And then you see it and it's like, yeah, no, it really doesn't fit. I mean, we could stretch it, but it's not really it doesn't really go.
Yeah.
So there's no point in us trying to cover it and make it fit if it's not going to.
Right. Yeah, no, it was a good time. And of course, what other better time than right on time? Like on cue. We've got the feedback phone going off, so hopefully we got some good thoughts on this one. All right, we do have a little bit of feedback this week for Heart Eyes. Got some stuff to read off for you. Thanks for the people that sent in their thoughts. Always appreciate it. And Daphne will tell you later how you can do that if you want to in the future.
I will.
Just a little bit.
I definitely will. And I'm going to start us off with Jessica, who sent in, it was fun for a Valentine's Day date movie, which is exactly when and how I saw it, but I wanted more. Great performances by both leads, but I wish it was a little funnier. As a diehard The Faculty fan, I loved seeing Jordana Brewster return to horror. Absolutely. Yeah. I think she was also in one of the Texas Chainsaw Massacres, sequels, but I don't remember which one. She doesn't do horror that often, so it's really cool when she comes back to it. So I agree with you, Jessica.
For sure. And then, of course, Catherine's coming through with some feedback with a message here. Catherine says, I loved how the first half kept me guessing about the killer. Was it a duo like Scream, or a lone murderer using hidden tunnels like in Thanksgiving? Was she thinking Thanksgiving? But that was like Thanksgiving, or Trap was the tunnels. I used tunnels to get in the car. No. But there's a lot of tunnels in a lot of movies, so yeah. She goes on to say, I did manage to guess the cop correctly, but I needed the explanation to understand how the IT guy fit in. Definitely keeping an eye on him during my next watch. I was worried they may make Jay the villain, especially with all of his sweet green flags. The police station scene felt straight out of Jeepers Creepers, and those cops had stormtrooper aim. Yes. Those glowing heart eyes were adorable. I don't know if adorable would be the choice of words I would make, Catherine, but awesome. Definitely. But yeah, adorable word. They were kind of pink and kind of...
Yeah.
Aw.
Festive.
Yes. She goes on again, with this whole movie was a blast with some seriously creative kills. The perfect stab through the camera was especially impressive.
I know, right? Makes me afraid to go out and do any photography outside because of it. Yeah. It's kind of...
Yeah.
Well, if you'd like to submit your feedback, like Catherine or Jessica, you can find us on Facebook and Instagram at Run For Your Lives Podcast, or you can email us at runforyourlivespodcast@gmail.com. You can go to runforyourlivespodcast.com for all the links you'll ever need. And if you're enjoying the show, tell your friends. We are available on all the podcast players, including Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. If you feel so inclined, give us a review on Apple Podcasts, as that is the best way to share the love and get us out there even more. We really appreciate it.
We absolutely do. And of course, speaking of sharing the love, got to give those shout outs to things going on in the Podcastica universe and beyond. I've been building it up with Cast of Us is coming. Cast of Us is covering The Last of Us, and it's coming soon. Finally. Now, no, the show's not here quite yet, but we're getting close enough to where you can go over to the Cast of Us right now and check out a pre-season 2 chat. Gearing up over there, getting even more excited for the show. Jason, Eric, and Ben get together to talk all kind of hopes, thoughts, whatever. Probably, especially knowing Jason, not too spoilery, even with the games and stuff, but just kind of some basic ideas of maybe what to expect or what they're hoping for with season 2 of The Last of Us coming up. So definitely give that a listen if you want a little extra something to get you even more excited for the season 2 premiere coming soon. So that is over on the Cast of Us. Of course, then other shows that are going, Yellow Jackets, WTF, the podcast there, continuing to cover Yellow Jackets season 3. You got everybody hitting up this
We do.
this episode. Got the whole gang, huh?
We do. We were all together for episode 9, which is titled How the Story Ends. And yeah, this season has been quite an adventure. I'm looking forward to us wrapping it up next week.
Mm-hmm. It'll be fun. So yeah, Yellow Jackets fans definitely make sure to check out their coverage there. They're getting close to the end of the season. But then after they're done with that, a lot of them are going to be busy jumping right into something else because the Handmaid's Tale podcast is then going to be kicking up busy. It's Handmaid's Tale season 6 is just around the corner, and there is something you can go check out very soon over there on that podcast feed. Of course, a pre-season 6 catch-up as well, so before the season starts. Same thing, as I said with Last of Us, they'll be talking about kind of hopes, thoughts, things they want to see, might see, whatever, and kind of getting themselves back into the mindset and ready for The Handmaid's Tale. So if you're a fan of that show, and again, need a little extra excitement with it, definitely go check out their episode, getting ready for season 6. Wheel of Time is back over on Amazon Prime, so you can check out Greg and Veronica's coverage of season 3 there. They're on episode 5 this week. Definitely be sure to check that out. Also, The White Lotus season 3 running right now, so you can check out Welcome to the White Lotus podcast there. Jenny, Randy, and Jason covering that. And they've got Randy's wife, Becca, on this episode this week, so you can be sure to check that out.
Becca is awesome. I have met her. She has come to trivia with Randy before, and she's great, so I'm sure that's going to be an awesome time.
Yeah. And then also Still Slaying, if you're a Buffy fan, you got Rewatch podcast going strong over there. Penny and Kara, and joined by Sam this week as well, covering season 4, episode 7, The Initiative of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, so definitely give that a listen as well if you're a fan of that show. Outside of Podcastica, like I said, there's always some fun stuff going on as well. Our friend Mark with Pirate Core Entertainment been putting together a really cool little cast of podcasters and shows and stuff over there that you can definitely check out. He's been covering Daredevil Born Again over on Panels to Pixels, while having Becky and Mandy covering the HBO Max series The Pit on the What's On Tonight podcast. So you can check out both of those. And also, Becky and Mandy recently put out a special episode interviewing Alexandra Metz, who plays Dr. Garcia on The Pit. So they're getting cast interviews, they're getting stuff over there. So it's awesome.
Great,
I always love to see our friends and other podcasters winning. So it's good to see some really cool stuff and getting to do cool things. So yeah, definitely go check them out and give them some love over there. Also, Daredevil Born Again, which has been just freaking fantastic this whole season. I'm loving it so much, and I'm not ready for it to end soon.
I know. But it's so good.
It's been so good. So also great coverage of that over at TV Podcast Industries. Our friends over there, definitely check out their coverage of Daredevil Born Again as well. And then if you need more me and Daphne, because God knows this isn't enough of us blathering on and on and on and on and on, you can always check out Buffalo podcast. We have our friends Jeff and Jerry join us just to take a break from the TV shows and movies and all of that and just talk about anything and everything. Just have a little chat for a little bit, but then a lot of the episode we spend kind of rotating games that we play with each other that at least are playable on Zoom. A lot of, trivia and 50-50 guessing and other kind of things. Lots of fun. We learned exactly how 50-50 works.
We did.
But yeah, a lot of fun. We have a blast over there trying to make each other laugh and annoy each other maybe sometimes to the point as much as we can. It's a good time. We have a lot of fun with it. So definitely check that out if you need a good laugh. At least we think we're funny most of the time. I don't know. So you can
think is the operative word. It's quite a time trying to wrangle you, Jeff, and Jerry.
Yeah, but we have fun.
We do. It's a lot of fun.
Go to buffalopodcast.com. You can get some links and stuff to that. Go check it out. We always enjoy people to go check it out. But yeah, after you've watched and listened to all of the shows and podcasts and stuff that I just mentioned, then you got to come back here next week because Run for Your Lives keeps trucking on. Daphne, what are we doing next week?
Well, a married couple on the outs, a mother and daughter pair, and a loner who's out for revenge must navigate the dangerous city streets when they're thrust together during a 12-hour period when all crime is legal. Yes, we are going to be discussing another film in the Purge series. This time it's James DeMonico's 2014 movie, The Purge: Anarchy.
Yeah, back into Purge mode.
Yes.
Been a little bit since we did The Purge, so be good to jump back into that series. So definitely check that one out, watch that one, give us some thoughts and feedback for next week.
Absolutely. Well, that brings us to the end of another fun episode. Thanks everyone for listening. I'm Daphne.
And I'm Pake.
And if you have to run, you better run for your lives.
Bye-bye.